Okay, welcome to a short video about exploring Python. This is lesson 201. And I'm going to just go ahead and walk you through some of this information. So most of this you could read, but first of all, we need to open up the idle shell. The one that's on our software here might be an older version. That's no problem. So I've already opened up my copy of Python. I've put it here. Now the next thing we need to do is open a file. So this is the shell. You can type in different things. We're going to play with this in just a moment. We need to know the difference between the shell and the file for programs. The next thing I'll do is open a new file. We've been used to using files that show number lines. It's a lot easier as we go along and make reference to different things. To show these in this environment, we click on Options, Show Number Lines, then it looks very similar. Now you notice where we have the chevron or 3 greater than symbols, that is the shell. So any examples that I have with these marks, it's in the shell. If I have numbers next to it, then it's in a file ready for a program that we can run. Okay, so that's the first part of the instructions that are on Canvas. Now this section here talks about the different advantages of the shell and the editor. You can read through that on your own. So we'll go ahead and we want to try these things. And notice that when it's shaded in yellow that we want to write these results down somewhere, keep track of them so that we can use them later to submit them. All right, so here's the shell. We'll go ahead and just place it here. Notice that it says record results for later. We're going to first start by doing 5 plus 3. And notice it does give me 8. And then do 5 times 3. It gives me 15. And then it's asking using Python to calculate 23 to the 8th power. Noticing here on the table that to get a raised to power, it's right here. Raised to a power, we have to do 2 asterisks. So let's try it. 23 raised to the 8th power. Okay, so we'll want to record or copy this amount. I'm going to just go ahead and put it here in my file for Python file. And I want to do it as a quote so that if I do run the thing, that it won't, or not a quote, a comment, that it won't make things go bad. All right, next thing we want to do is find out what error do we get when we do 5 divided by 0. That's part 3 here. So we'll go ahead and try it. Do 5 divided by 0. Notice that we get a trace back. This error right here, I want to copy this later because I think I'll need it for a reference. I'm just using this part as and I'm going to do it this way this time so I can just comment the whole line out. There we go. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to play with different types. We want to find out what it is that, well, we've got the comment here. I'm not sure if I have to type this in for you. It's good to do. But notice the different types. Now, what would happen if I typed in string 3, integer 4.2, and then if I type this in, what would be the resulting type if I did that? So let's try it. Okay, so we do string str 3, and of course you get, and notice the quotes around it showing that it is a string. Integer 4.2, notice that that's a float going in, it just chops off the letter, the number. In fact, I'm curious, I wonder if it's rounding. Let's try something bigger than 0.5 and see. Nope, it just chops it right off. We call that truncate. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is take the string 3 and append it to string integer 4.2. What do you suppose we'd get? Okay. All right, we got 34. So it takes the integer part here, goes ahead and converts the float to an integer and then to a string. All right, so we just need to be aware of what kind of thing it is here for later on. Now, the next thing we're looking at is variables, and this is just a reminder of what proper variables are, and you'll learn something new about string or lists of variables. So the first part is just like we learned before, we're using underscore with words that make sense to make a variable. So I don't think I'll go over that right now because we did that so much. But this part, number 6, is brand new for us. So this method is called a list. So if I do vowels, and I set this equal to, we call this a list, equals to a list of strings. So that's A, E, I, O, and U. So this is something that's pretty cool about Python is we can have a list of items. They don't have to be all strings. They can be anything. We can have it be integers and strings. We can have all different kinds of types listed into one place. So that can be very useful for other things. So there it is, vowels. So if I type print, I'm not sure if it'll let me print a list. Let's try it. It might give us a problem. Okay, it printed the whole list. Nice. Or we can do the for I in vowels. I think this prints the whole thing. Print I, and it does. It prints every element inside. So that's one other really useful technique with this. Okay, one more thing. There is a reference, as we see right here. It's in yellow. Let's see. Be prepared to answer the output given the value of the string. Notice it goes from 0 to 4. All right, well, let's see what that means. Okay, so if I reference vowels and I reference to 2, notice that it goes to I. So it's not going to the second item in the list because it starts with 0, 0, 1, 2. It gives me I. Be prepared for the part that you get to respond to at the end to get your credit. So the next part is we learned about the accumulator pattern, this one right here. This one is multiplying. We can also do adding. The main thing here is remember how we did this shorter, I guess it is. Yeah, the shortcut to it. We can use that now because we've played with it. Remember something like this. So if I do example of number of students equals 0, and then if we do number of students, and remember we did this times equals, and we're just going to go ahead and put 14 in there. No, we don't want to do times. Well, we do times equals. It's still going to give 0. Let's do plus equals. So that's, remember how we did that. So if we did like 500, like that, then if we do the number of students, we get, maybe I ought to print that, huh? Oh, I'm doing this in the file. I got mixed up, didn't I? I put it on the file instead of on this part here. That makes sense. That's okay. We're just going to go ahead and go with it. Play with it a little bit, and then the next thing you need to do is go next, and this takes you to a short assignment in Edulastic. And in Edulastic, it'll let you go through and answer some questions. You will need the files that I showed you right here. You'll need this information, and you'll need this number. to answer the questions. Very good. Enjoy.